kender måske ikke navnet Cris Cab endnu, men det kommer du til. Han er nemlig en ung amerikansk fremadstormende musiker, og han skal spille på Smukfest i år. Men lige i aften, der skal han spille ind på Vega, og nu skal vi ind og møde ham. So Cris Cab, welcome to Denmark.
Thank you so much. Always a pleasure to be in Denmark, for sure.
You've been here before?
Yes. It's my third or fourth time here.
Vacationing or?
Partying, you know what I mean? Going crazy. No. I've been here for some shows, some interviews, and one time on vacation as well, so it was very nice.
Cool. And you're coming back this summer for a concert at the Skanderborg Festival, which we are looking very much forward to.
So excited.
I would like to explain to you what it feels like to be on that festival, because it's quite a special place. If you can imagine standing at a stage in a big forest of beech trees, with the light coming down through the leaves and people just hanging out, having the summery feeling. How does that kind of description fit together with your music, you think?
I think that'll work very well with my music. You know, I spent a lot of time growing up in the Bahamas, and for me, this is where I discovered reggae music, you know, and also being born and raised in Miami as well. It's like, you know, a lot of sunny tropical vibes. So in my music, I always have to have positivity. I always have to have that summer feeling and that good reggae love vibe, you know? So I think it'll do pretty well out there in the festivals.
And you have that, like that positive thing about you. You got that, your smile on.
All positivity. You got to get your smile on, you know? You got to be happy, like Pharrell said.
How is that? Why is that important to you and your music?
Like I said, you know, my music has a lot of reggae influence in it. And, you know, reggae is a music of love and positivity and, you know, speaking of the world as one place rather than countries divided or, you know. She's burning, never knew which way she was turning. And I still know the pain she brought me late one day.
How do you, as a young kid, only 21 now, how do you, can't tell his age. We must admit, you're pretty young and you're touring the world. How did this all happen?
It started for me when I was about 10 years old, and I started playing the guitar and, you know, just picked up a guitar and played for hours and hours and hours and, you know, eventually taught myself how to play. And it all started from there, just like a love for music, you know, and just spending all my time, you know, making music and writing music. And before I knew it, I looked up and I'm like, wow, this is what I want to do, you know. And by the time I was 13 and 14, I was writing and producing my own music and singing, and then began to perform. And then after that, long story short, I'm traveling the world. I was out in the world just messing with the bad girls, getting refreshed in. Got a call from my girl just left, saying girls don't grow on trees. She said don't bother me. Hey, hey.
I know that you were also kind of touched by a special hand, a guy that has decided to mentor you.
Yeah. You know, for me, my first mentor, my greatest mentor, Mr. Pharrell Williams, you know, someone who taught me so much about the, you know, the music industry and about writing and producing and making music and giving me such great advice along the way, and he's become a really great friend of mine as well. So wouldn't be here without Pharrell. So
I met her through a friend of mine who told me that this girl was fine. I picked her up and I started to figure out there's more on the inside than on the out. Hey man, I've learned my lesson. Got a good girl, count your blessings. Instead of spending them up on sex, and good girls don't grow on trees.
How did you hook up with Mr. Pharrell Williams?
So I met Pharrell in Miami. You know, Pharrell's lived in Miami now for a long time too. You know, almost like 12 years or something like that. And
you just met him on the street, hanging out.
He was eating an ice cream cone, and I was like, "Yo, what's up, man?" No, no. We actually got linked together, you know, by a friend of a friend. Miami's a very small place, and you know, when we went around asking, you know, who's in the music business, and you know, you're talking to people, and finally we found out a good friend of ours had a relationship with Pharrell, and he was nice enough to realize I was a young kid, you know, making music in my bedroom, and he was like, you know, let me introduce you to a friend of mine, and even if he could just give you a few words of advice, you know, it could mean the world to a young up-and-coming artist, and that's what he did. took me and I got to play music, and Pharrell gave me amazing advice. And then, you know, about a year or so later, we ended up hitting it off, and he began teaching me. So,
what can we be expecting this summer at the festival from a concert from you?
You guys could expect a lot of different surprises. You know, I have my first album coming out now, so, you know, there's going to be a lot of songs off the new album, but also a lot of surprises for the fans, you know, some cool covers of, you know, maybe some old hip-hop, some old R&B, bring it into the reggae world, you know. So definitely some surprises.
We're looking really much forward to Cris. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.